Hello everyone, welcome to the next lecture on the GATE 2023 statistics. Today we will discuss about question number 41 to 45 which was asked in this paper. Myself Dr. Harish. You can simply follow my YouTube channel Dr. Harish and scan and join my WhatsApp group for the various discussion part. What you will found on my YouTube channel, there will be a playlist of the GATE statistics where we have discussed the GATE 2023 papers question 11 to 15, 16 to 20 and up to question number 40 we have already discussed. Also you can see the GATE 2022 complete series, complete question we have discussed. Apart from them we have already discussed the PY questions related to the CSR 2022, CSR GATE as well as complete of this years. So let's start with this video how you can solve these questions. The first question here, remember how you can solve this question in a 15 second. You just remember my trick. Firstly, I will give you the shortcut tips how you can solve this question. So first of all, you all knows if xi follows my normal distribution with the mean is mu, variance is sigma square, then what is my x bar? It again follows the normal distribution with the mean mu, variance is sigma square by n. That you all knows. That is for the single variable. But here you can see this is nothing but my multivariate distribution. Fine. So it's a multivariate. So again the rule is similar. If I say xi follows the normal distribution with the mean and the variance are my here and say this is my p. Fine. Just like say 2, then your x bar is also follows the normal distribution with the mean is mu, variance is sigma by n. Just like similar of this with the degree is of here. Now once anything follows the normal distribution, can you convert into the chi-square distribution? You can easily convert this divided by the variance. It follows chi-square distribution of p. Fine, with the p degree of freedom. Now since it is a multivariate, so instead of this square, how you can write that? I can written this form as x transpose and x bar minus of mu. Fine. I can written this number as sigma inverse and n I can multiply by this. So it follows my chi-square distribution with the degree of freedom p. Fine. Now you can see that it is similar to this kind. The only difference is it is not multiplied with the n. So I can multiply this by n and divide it by n. So I can written this number as u is 1 over, say I can say y over n, where y is my this number. Fine, this is my y. So it means y follows my chi-square. What is the p? P is my 2. Clear? Now I can substitute the value here. So my target is to find the values of probability u less than equal to half. So I can substitute the value of the u, 1 over y divided by n is less than half. So if I open this bracket, I can get as y over n is greater than or equal to 1. Or you can say what is the n? N is my 10. So p y is greater than equal to 10. Fine. Now what is that? Y follows the chi-square distribution of here. So we all know the expected value of the y is 2. Variance of y is my 2n. So that is my 4. Also, what is the chi-square of 2? That is nothing but my exponential distribution with the parameter 2, that is a 1 by 2. So how you can write that? This is nothing but 10 to infinity half e raised to power minus y over 2 dy. So can you integrate them? This integration will give you a e raised to power minus 10 over 2, that is e raised to power minus 5. Now they are talking about the log of e. So what is the log of e? Is my minus 5 is the right answer of this problem. So remember always whenever there is a x bar minus of mu, it follows this normal distribution. So since it's a multivariate distribution, you can write this multivariate distribution in this form. So since in this given statement, you can see again in this given statement n is not present, so I can multiply this term by n because n is a constant number. I can divide it by n. So this numerator part becomes my chi-square distribution with the degree of freedom as this p. So I can written as simple manner. So the right answer of this problem is minus 5. Okay, let's look at this another one. if g is given to be here, f is my continuous function and the twice differentiable. G dash is the derivative, and which of the following is not true? Only the one correct option is there. Again, a very simple, nothing is to be solved. You just read the option and get the correct answer. Look at the first option. There exists a C in the closed interval of open interval of 0,2 such that g dash of C is equal to 0. Do you think any of the result in the mathematics which relate with the derivative to be 0? Yes, this is a Rolle's theorem. Fine. So what you want to prove for the Rolle's theorem? You have to prove that g is continuous on the closed interval 0,2 and g is differentiable on the open interval 0,2, which is given to you. Since f is a continuous function and twice differentiable, so g is a function of this, so it is a continuous. That's fine. G is differentiable because it is already given that g is a derivative of this, so it is satisfied. So what is the, according to the Rolle's theorem, g dash of C is a 0 where C is belong to this. So this is my correct statement. Fine. But we need a false statement, so this option is cancelled out. Now look at the second part. F double dash is greater than 0. So since f is any continuous function, you can think about any function which is continuous and second derivative is greater than 0. A simplest one is x square. So this is x square because you can clearly say what is the second derivative is 2. It is greater than 0. It satisfied this property. Now it is a continuous also on here. Now g. So what is that? How you prove that it's a decreasing? So it means you have to prove that g dash must be less than 0. Fine. So what is the g dash? So firstly we have to find the g. F of x, x square, f of this is my here. Then your target is to prove g dash is less than 0. So I can find this number as minus 4 plus of 2x. That is 4x minus 4 here. Then your target is to check whether this is there. Now x lies between 0 and 1. So what is x minus 1? X minus 1 lies between here. That is a negative. This part is less than 0. So g dash is less than 0 on this interval is also the correct statement. Fine. Now look at this next option. Think any of the function whose derivative is less than 0. Same example I can consider, but take as a minus x square. Fine. It is my minus of 2 less than 0. Then what is the g? Is a minus x square minus 2 minus x square. Then you have to check whether g dash is increasing. That is a first derivative should be greater than 0. So what is that? It's a minus of 2x minus minus plus 2 times 2 minus x. So it is 4 minus 4x, or you can say 4 times 1 minus x. Now your target is to check in the interval 1 to 2. When x lies between here, minus of x lies between this. When you add 1 on the both side, minus 1, so you can see this number is my negative. So this number is negative, it is a less than 0. That means g is my decreasing. So this statement is my false statement. Fine. Now look at the check about the last option. Think about any of the function whose derivative, second derivative is a 0. Either the constant or x, linear function. So if I consider f as a constant, like f is say my 5, then this is 5 plus 5. So g is my constant, that's correct. If I consider g as my x, then what is my g? F is my x, it is my x plus 2 minus x. Again g is my constant. So g is my constant, it's also the correct statement. So the right answer is only my C is the correct answer. So that's a very simple. You just provide the one counter examples to solve this. You may think about that like f is my sin x. That's also true. Then the f dash is my cos x. F double dash is minus sin x. So which is, can it be always less than 0? It's satisfied, but sometimes it is difficult to prove like of this is sin x, sin of 2 minus x. Then how you can prove that it's a decreasing or increasing? Again you have to take the derivative. It takes some calculation, but the easiest one is the polynomial. Okay, look at this another one. For any subset u of the Rn, L of u is my span. For any two subset of this, which are the following statement is not true. Only the one correct option is there. Okay, this is the correct statement. Why? Because this is the definition of the union. Laplace of the span of the union is nothing but the elements wise here. Look about this. Okay, span of the alpha comma beta. What is the meaning of that? You have to return this as a linear combination of this. L of beta gamma I can return as this gamma plus d of this. Now the two sets, when they are equal, when one of them is contained in the others. Very simple. You can see I can start with the left hand side firstly. Fine. So I can find the value of the alpha from this equation. What is that? Minus 2 beta minus 3 gamma comma, sorry, I can find the value of alpha and here. Fine. I can also return this number as a pair of beta and gamma. So it is nothing but my here, because it's a linear combination. You can see I can return this as a times and b times of this. So again I can return this as b plus of gamma. So you can see this is nothing but here. So therefore this is my correct statement. Fine. On the other hand, if you start from this second side, beta of gamma, I can substitute the value of the gamma. Gamma is nothing but my minus alpha minus 2 beta upon 3. So again I can return this as a beta b times of this, which is again written as of some combination of alpha, some combination of beta, which is alpha beta. This is the correct statement. This is again the by the definition. This is the by definition. The span of the span is nothing but my here. So what is the meaning of that? The only one incorrect option is my, this is the correct option. So A is the only correct answer. Remember, if T is the proper subset of the S, then the span of the T is not the proper subset of this S. What is the rule is? Remember, if T is the subset of the S, then you can say the span of the T is the subset of the S. But if it is a proper subset, then it is not true always. So the right answer is A is the right answer because of the word proper. Okay, look at this another one. F is a continuous function. You can take any of the continuous function like e raised to power x, sin x, x constant. That's depending upon you. Then which of the following statement is not true? Or very simple again. So firstly we can see about the A part. For any sequence is absolute convergent. Okay, so you have to check about this term. Fine. So what is the absolute convergent? So if I prove that this number is less than of here and this is my convergent. We all know this is by convergent by the P test. It is a convergent. So we can say this is my absolute convergent. So how you can prove that? The first way is you can consider f is my sin x, or you can consider f is my cos x. So then it is a less than 1. But if you consider this is my x, then it is not always less than 1. Okay, or you can say any continuous function x square. So you can simply remember the rule, f is continuous on, this is the main thing, on the closed interval. What is the meaning of that? F is bounded. Because of this closed interval, f is bounded. So what is the meaning of that? Mod of f is less than m. So what is the meaning of that? This f of xn over n square is less than of the m by n square, and this is a constant. So this is a convergent by the P test. So this is my correct statement. But we need a false statement. Look at the second part. If f of x, mod of f of x is 1, so what is that? F is either plus 1 or minus 1. Fine. This is the only option. So once f is 1, if you substitute here, integration of the 1 is 1. When f is minus 1, integration of this will be minus 1, but you can take the modulus, it is a 1. So this is also the correct option. Moreover, you may remember this result. What is that? This is always be less than of this part. Fine. So what is the value of this? This is my 1. So this is nothing but my here. So this is a less than equal to 1. So how you can prove the equality? Based on the fx is my 1 or minus 1. Okay, look at this another option, that is the third option. F sequence xn is my sequence which is my continuous, function is my convergent. Okay, f of xn is my convergent. Fine. Okay, this is a sequence. This is a sequence. So what is the meaning of that? That means limit of this is my finite and unique. Fine. Then xn is also convergent. Okay. You can consider any of the sequence on 0, 1. So say 0, 1. I can consider this sequence. And function I can simply taken as sin x. Or okay, instead of the sin x, I can simply taken as a sine of pi x. How I choose as a pi x? Because I need a limit as a unique. So if I consider 0, it's a sine 0 is 0. So what is my sequence x? Answer is 0. 1 is again 0. So it's a unique and the finite. Or you can consider this as 2x plus 1 pi by 2. What is the answer of this? Again, can you get as a unique answer? When x is 0, cos pi by 2, 0. When x is 1, it's a cos 3 pi by 2. Again, it's a 0. So you can see this is a convergent. Fine. So this property satisfies. Is it convergent? No. Why? Because this has no unique limit. So this xn is divergent. So it means this is my false statement. Fine. So since only the one correct option is there, so C is the right answer. But look at this last option. How you can read this statement? F is a monotonically increasing. Fine. F is also given to you continuous. What is the meaning of that? F is the mapping from 0, 1 to the real number. Then the inverse of the F goes to the f of 0, f of 1, when it will be there, when your f will be the monotonic function and f will be my continuous, and both the properties satisfied. F is a continuous, f is a increasing. So what is the meaning of that? F map from the 0 to f of 1. So this is my correct state. Remember, this is the result. This is the shortcut trick for you. When f is monotonic and continuous, then the inverse image is defined and it goes to this here. So remember, this is all for the closed interval. So this is my correct statement, but we need a false statement. So the right answer is only C is the correct answer of this problem. So you can see it's a very simple. You can remember this trick. We will solve the next 5 questions in our next lecture. Till then, you can simply scan and join my WhatsApp group. You can like, share and comments on my videos. Best of luck, students. Happy learning.